Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Sessions with Kat. We're here another week, another video, back on my bullshit because why the fuck not? I'm joking. Um, how y'all doing? Y'all good? Y'all hydrated? Y'all eating well? Y'all feeling well? Y'all need a virtual hug? Let me know. I'm here for you. Um, and I sincerely mean that. Like, I'm not just saying that just to be saying that. So, this week, we're gonna go through this deck. I've been wanting to go through this deck, but Spirit was like, no, no, no. And today, Spirit was like, yes. And I was like, all right, then. So we're doing it. So here we are. Disclaimer, okay? A warning, whatever, however you want to look at it. If you are not into realistic faces like this that have pictographs and realistic eyes on cards, look the fuck away. Okay? This deck is not for everybody. There are some people who don't like these type of faces on cards. They need something a little bit more whimsical or softer. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. I like bold. I like in my face. I like tell it to me how it is. I like being able to kind of pick up messages throughout the card, and this here just looks, it fits me. So if this isn't your thing, look away, or like the video and then exit politely. Okay, I'd appreciate that. But I just wanted to like put the disclaimer out there because all the pictures, like all these cards, have faces like this that are realistic, right? I don't know if you guys can see that. And they're like in your face kind of things, okay? So just be mindful of that if it ain't for you, okay? I know that sometimes the cards that I use aren't for everybody, and that's okay. But I go through them, like this deck in particular, because I want to explain kind of what I use it for and discuss this topic today. But I love this deck. It suits me, okay? I don't know if it's still in print. I got this off of Amazon, I believe. I know they make a black and white version. I'm not for the black and white version. Nothing wrong with black and white cards. They have their place, okay? I just prefer color, right? I live in color. So if black and white is your thing and if you can find this deck in black and white, more power to you, okay? And another little disclaimer, don't talk about me, y'all, because like my fingernail broke in the midst of doing shit, and here we are, and it looks weird to me, but whatever, we're here for it, and I don't have time to go get it fixed, so that's that. Updates. Well, I'm gonna send out an update about the walking home barefoot experience because there is some confusion with it. It doesn't have to be group, it can be individual. And I think my email might have confused folks on that. So I'm going to send out another update on that, just so you guys aren't confused and I make sure you guys understand all your options with that. So that's number one. Number two, the podcast is up. It's out. Go fucking listen. Like, listen to it. Damn it. I'm excited about it. I did send out like a blast to those on my email listing. They got to hear it first, and then I'm gonna start promoting it even more on Instagram and other places that I other what do you call social media like platforms. I will be broadcasting it there. So I'm excited, and I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch my videos, listen to my podcast, like my shit on Instagram. If you're on Tumblr, you like my shit there. I just appreciate you guys being here. So thank you. That being said, let's get into this. We're going to talk about meditation, right? And we're going to talk about like specifically meditating with divination, okay? Particularly cards, okay? You can also like meditate with charms and whatnot, but we're talking specifically cards, because sometimes this is a bit more effective for those of you who can't like shut off the monkey mind. This way might be a bit more effective because you're giving your mind something to focus on. Okay, and that's what I use this deck for if my mind's frazzled, right? Especially like if I come home from a long day of doing shit outside of the house and social anxiety. Oh, I'm so sorry, y'all. I done hit the camera. My social anxiety is like through the roof. I will grab this deck, or I will just like come sit in my office where, the vibration is a little bit more calmer, and just kind of like be. But I do always come back to this deck, so that's what I'm using this deck for. Okay, this deck retails $47. I know I did not pay that. Okay, but that's what it retails for. Because Amazon gives you stuff a little bit cheaper. But I know I didn't pay $47 for that. But I've had that deck for I don't know how many years I've had it. When did it come out? That's a great fucking question, isn't it? Usually there's a copyright somewhere, but I don't see it. But I've had it for a while, and I thoroughly and like use this deck. And for this deck, you need the book. And this is one of those decks that I use the book. There's only a handful of decks, and by handful I mean like 2 or 3, that I absolutely must use the book for. And this is one of them because it's a call out for me. It's a way to journal, it's a way to meditate, and sometimes journaling is a form of meditation. Sometimes it's just me like meditating, like, sitting still with the card, with something in the book, or what have you. Okay, so I know that I get a lot of clients who can't quiet the mind. And that's always difficult. I will say this, you might also need this book here. This is an actual book that's kind of tied to these cards. You'll need this if you like to dive deeper like I do. The book is not in color, which sucks. I think there's a guidebook that isn't in color, and I think it's bigger. I like the small one. This small one's good enough for me. But it has, as you can see, I used it. It has the card and the story behind the card, the gift that this person's bringing to you, and then questions for contemplation. This is where I will meditate, right? I'll meditate on this kind of stuff, whether it's journaling, just sitting still, whatever. This is usually what I would use for that. Okay, and that's it. So again, okay, I haven't even gotten to the cards yet. If you're not a person who likes to see stuff like this, look away. Just look away. You can listen to me talk, but look away. I don't want to freak anybody out, okay? Because I know sometimes different patterns, different things can make people feel a certain way. And I'm not here to like disrupt your spirit. I am not, okay? So I want you to know what works, like, what triggers you and what doesn't. So if stuff like this triggers you, look away now, just listen, or, just like the video and come, like, politely leave, and we'll leave it at that. So that's the book. So I'm about to get into the cards. You've been warned. That's all I'm gonna say. You've been warned. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about ways to meditate with your cards. Okay. And I don't have a favorite card in this deck. The whole deck is my favorite. I know that sounds weird, but the whole deck is my favorite. So if you guys are waiting for me to say this is my favorite card, the whole deck is my favorite card. Like, that's just it. But ways to meditate with your decks. It depends on the type of deck. It really does. I recommend using oracle decks for meditative purposes. Hear me out. If you like tarot and you want to use tarot, you go ahead and do that. In my world, tarot is a bit more direct and it's to the point. Okay? When you're meditating, the whole objective is to kind of open, right? To open yourself to all the possibilities. Tarot can be to the point, so it's narrowing it down to one possibility, right? So I recommend oracle decks for that reason, is because it keeps you open, keeps everything broad, and I love it. Now, those of you who are watching this deck, please comment below which one is your favorite card. I am curious, okay? Or if you see remnants of famous people in the cards, I'll say it that way, or even just somebody you know. I'm curious how you resonate with the cards. And these suckers are thick. I love them. I love them. I love the dragonflies on the back. I didn't show you guys that. It's fucking dragonflies on the back, and it's the key. Like, I love it. Love it. So let's get into this. All right. Try to keep all the jokes out of the way here. Meditation helps with restoring your body back to a mindful setting. Okay? It helps with clearing the cloudiness, like, settling the mud so that the lotus can bloom. It helps with just being more present, being more kind of here and now with whatever situation you're dealing with versus all over the place mentally, emotionally, and physically, right? It kind of helps to kind of like reset the balance. And that's one of the things I love about meditation. It also depends on the type of meditation that you're doing. This deck here I use for written and quiet meditations. Okay? Sometimes, depending on the card, like this lovely woman here, right? I will then find a song that complements this card and then dance to it so you can dance, right? But I'm like specifically looking at written and quiet meditation because the whole goal is to quiet the monkey mind, right? That's the whole goal there, is to quiet that monkey mind so you can focus, right? Because there's nothing like going about your day and just feeling kind of all out of whack. You wake up that way and you haven't taken the time to do that mental reset. So that's what I'm focusing on here. So this deck is usually out of order. Okay, I put it in order so you guys could see the cards in order, okay? But I will shuffle, okay? I will shuffle the deck and you shuffle however many times you see fit. This is a huge deck, so it's usually a side shuffle, or I'll try to bridge it, or even do like a side shuffle, like a, this way, like this way, right? Versus the long way like I normally would. But you shuffle, right? Whatever number suits you. Some people use their life path number, okay, to shuffle. I do, and I don't. I listen to spirit. If spirit says shuffle 5 times, I'll shuffle 5 times. It's your personal choice. But you shuffle. And then you put your hand over that deck and you wait till you feel or hear or sense top, middle, bottom. Okay? That's usually the card you need to go to. And the deck will tell you, spirit will tell you, whatever. It'll tell you whether you need top, middle, bottom, all 3, 2 of the 3, 1. It'll just tell you, right? And then you pull that card, right? And let's say you get to this card, right? And you sit with it, right? See what pops out at you immediately. That is all you need. Do not study it. Sit with it. Let whatever needs to pop out, pop out. And then you put the card aside and you focus on those things. Now, if you feel like you don't know exactly what this card is trying to tell you, you'll go into the book, right? And you can do this with any of your oracle decks, right? If you don't know what the message is truly trying to tell you, read whatever the card is about, okay? In this case, I usually go over here and read these questions, but whatever deck you are using, read what the card is about and see if it pops out there. So if nothing pops out from here, read the description of the card. If nothing pops out from there, then I usually take the card after to see how the two play together, okay? In this particular case, this is what I'm hearing, so I'll tell you guys what I'm hearing. I can't keep attracting in the same method that I used prior. I have to find new methods. I have to become versatile in how I'm attracting things towards me, right? This is something that I am working on, right? Even personally, but that's kind of what I'm picking up from this. So then I'll meditate on that. I'll either go find the questions for both cards, or I'll just meditate on what I've gathered from this. I'll dance it out, quiet sitting, or journal. 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna journal. Okay, I'm gonna write because sometimes the information is overload and I just gotta get it all out before I lose it, right? So I will journal it. That's what we're focusing on here, okay? Is how to use your cards to journal or meditate / manifest, because it's kind of what we want to achieve with our meditation. Meditation kind of like pulls down all that information and just delivers it to you. And then your job is to take that information and then manifest it into something like in your physical world. So, well, that's basically it too. Is you're trying to like, see your future with it. Okay. So you journal or you sit quietly. When you are done with that meditation, you kind of come out of it and then you go, okay, how can I begin to implement this in a way that produces a healthy routine? And I apologize for the noise. Somebody just rode by on a motorcycle. You want to make sure that you're, like, whatever you're bringing out of that meditation is healthy, and it creates a healthy routine that's going to help you better your life, not destroy it. And that's kind of the point of meditating with the cards, if that makes sense. I use this deck to get called out, okay? Because sometimes I don't know that I'm avoiding my own bullshit, so I let this deck tell me what I'm avoiding. That's how I use this. And I will pick this deck up at least twice a week, right? At the very least, okay? There are times where I use it every day because I just don't want to be in my own way. So that's kind of the, part of it as well. When you're meditating with cards, you don't want to be in your own way. The whole goal is to get out of your own way and manifest the life that you desire. But the only way to do that is to get out of your own way, and the only way to get out of your own way is to kind of go deep and figure out what is there, right? So that's how we're going to use these cards. You can use whatever oracle decks you see fit. However, I don't recommend like chakra decks. Those are a little too broad, okay? You need something that kind of gives you a little bit more direction. So make sure they have like not all chakra decks have like keywords or anything like that, or images that will tell you to focus on a particular thing. It might be too broad, right? You want to make sure that whatever deck you're using will give you a little bit more depth to whatever it is that you need to work on. I hope that made sense, right? But meditation is key for growth, right? For coming home to yourself. Meditation, it's a beautiful thing. Not everybody wants to sit there and be still and be quiet. I never said you couldn't play music, right? I never said you couldn't, hum or make some noise. I use a drum sometimes. Sometimes I use my rattles. Sometimes I use all kinds of instruments that I need to use, right? It doesn't have to be quiet, because sometimes when it's too quiet, the mind just goes crazy and you can't exactly focus. Sometimes you need like a rhythm, right? Just a steady rhythm so that your mind can stay with that steady thought, right? Sometimes that's what you need. And that's okay, right? There's no wrong way to meditate unless it is breaking you. That's what I'm going to say to that. There's no wrong way unless it's breaking you. Okay? So use your cards, right? But go with the open mind. You don't have to ask us like a specific question. I don't ever just go and ask a specific question. I always just let them tell me what I need in that moment, what I need to hear in that moment. I will not ask a specific question, because that's not the point, right? When you go on a meditation, it's not to seek a specific answer. It's to just let them give you whatever you need, right? That's why sometimes I hate guided meditations, because you're closing yourself off to all the information you might need. So I don't like to always use them, right? I don't always follow them. A lot of times I just let spirit tell me what I need to know. Plain and simple, right? But when you're using cards, it gives you a little bit more control of your mind, because now it has something to focus on while you get whatever downloads and upgrades and whatnot that spirit wants you to have, with your gifts or whatever. It gives your mind something to do, so it doesn't disrupt the flow. Okay. Sadly, we have to do that, but that's just how we're built, right? That's part of being human. Some of us have mastered, the art of being able to quiet the mind. It's not easy. It is not easy. It takes years, right? It takes years. So there are, and I'm going to talk about this deck for a little bit. There are 65 cards, but 64 faces. And when we get to the last card, I'll explain that. The 65th card, I'll explain why there's only 64 faces. There are 65 faces, but the 65th card is different. But the goal of this deck is, to me, explore the facets of you, right? Of the self, of the higher self, of the lower self, of the middle self, of the places where, we're feeling depleted, or the places where we've been ignoring. It's to explore our authentic self, right? So that we're giving it our all, not pieces of us, right? That's what I like about this deck, right? And you want to use a deck that will help you explore the various levels of you, not just one. Okay, I can't tell you how many decks that I won't touch, because there's no depth. Like, whose decks are those? And not to like bash anybody, but these decks are just not for me. Like when Miss Virtue was over here making her decks. I'm not the biggest fan. I was never the biggest fan because they didn't feel like they went deep enough. The same with, what's Chicky Poo name? Colette Baron Reed. She keep her decks. She keep them like they're beautiful. They're beautiful. It's just there's no depth. Like there is, it's not deep enough, right? And like, let's look at this card, right? There's depth there. You see all these little pieces there. There's depth. There's a voice. There's so much there that I can, work with for myself. I don't need a deck that's not going to help me work on myself and it's just meant to be pretty. I need something that's going to help me dig deep, right? I'm pulling up roots that don't belong there anymore. You know what I mean? That's kind of the whole point, in my opinion, okay? Is to use a deck that helps you meditate on something deeper, right? To get to the root of an issue and explore it, right? Like it gives you all the stuff that's tied to it, not just pieces, right? And you can do the healing work. You can actually get some healing out of it, and your meditation becomes a healing practice, and you're able to live a little bit more mindfully. That's kind of the point of this, and I hope I'm making sense, y'all. This is what Spirit wanted me to talk about, but this is what I do with certain oracle decks. It is for meditative purposes, and I want you guys to know that you can use the cards for that. They're not just to like read the future. Sometimes it's to read yourself, like in that current moment, and get your shit together, right? That's what I want you guys to know. I want you guys to know that it doesn't always have to be, oh, what's my future? It's, okay, what bullshit am I missing, right? How am I in my own way? A lot of times that's what it's about, right? It's about exploring the depths of you, the authentic parts of you that need attention that we haven't given to ourselves, okay? So this is the last face card in this deck, right? And I told you guys there's 65 cards total, 64 faces, but there's actually 65 faces, okay? This card, while I'm not going to flip it over because this is mine, okay? Get your own if you want this card, but this card is mine, okay? This is a mirror. It's a mirror card, okay? And I'm not flipping it over because it's my mirror card. It's meant to reflect me. So this deck is mine. This is why I ain't giving up this deck. Don't ask me to give it to you. Don't ask me to let you have it. By okay? This is mine. It's a mirror card, okay? And it's meant to help you see those parts of yourself that you're hiding or that need work or that need love, that need some form of attention. This is a mirror card. There are 65 faces, but one of them is you, okay? There's 64, main faces, but this one is you, okay? This is a mirror card, all right? That's why I love this deck, because it's a call out. It allows me to see myself like purely as I am, right? It allows me to see the energy that people see or that they feel around me, which is why I attract, right, certain people, certain vibes, and why I give it off so that people can feel some sort of way around me or whatever. It allows me to see the whole of me. So any deck you use for meditative purposes, I do recommend you have a mirror, right? So if I use another oracle deck for meditative purposes, which I do have 2 of them, I will whip this mirror out of this deck to kind of see myself, right? As I'm working on whatever that deck told me to. or whatever spirit told me to out of the deck. I use the mirror to do that, okay? I recommend you have a mirror. I recommend you face yourself. I recommend you not being afraid to face yourself, because it ain't gonna hurt. You done been through the hurt, right? Meditation is just to heal. It's not to make you relive anything. It's to help you heal. So, I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to shake y'all again. I ain't trying to choke y'all, or anything like that. But I do recommend you have a mirror. Or, hear me out. Stand in the mirror, right? Explore the depths of you, right? That is a form of meditation with your deck, right? You're taking whatever messages came from the deck and you're allowing yourself to see those parts of you, right? To look deeper, right? It's crazy because I'm supposed to say this, so I'm gonna say it. For those of you who are Christian, like in spiritual, whatever, but you still read your Bible, Book of James, right? It's in the book. That's the book that's what Spirit just told me to tell y'all. It's the Book of James. Read the Book of James. You'll understand what I mean by this whole looking in the mirror. Because sometimes we look in the mirror and we forget who the fuck we are. Soon as we walk away from the mirror, we forget. We don't remember until we look in the mirror again, right? And then we go, damn, I look frazzled, but you didn't look frazzled when you first looked in that mirror, right? You just forgot who the fuck you was between then and that current moment. Is learning to look in that mirror, know who the fuck you are, and walk in it, right? And walk firmly in it. Not forgetting your worth, not forgetting that, you have healed and you've come this far and there's more to do. That's part of the meditative process, right? That's the healing aspect of it. So I want you to use your cards. I want you to have a mirror, right? I want you to learn to meditate for you, not just to manifest, I want to manifest financial prosperity. No, figure out what within you is blocking that financial prosperity. And a lot of times that's what these cards help with, okay? So you don't have to have the specific deck. Just have whatever Oracle deck. I recommend Oracle. Oracle deck and a mirror, okay? To help you, right? If you don't own a mirror, which some people don't, use your front-facing camera on your phone, okay? Or use like I don't know, use something to get a reflection of yourself, right? So you can kind of see those pieces of yourself that need healing, right? It is one of the best ways to look at yourself. Make sure you bless the mirror before you use it. You don't want no bullshit coming out at you either, okay? That being said, thank you for, that's your card. Thank you for listening to this. If you have any questions, comments, please, put them in the comments below. I do read them. I respond where I can. If you'd like to sign up for my newsletter, the link is in my description box. So is my email and my Instagram page. If you like to book any services, you can go to Instagram. You can send me an email. You can send me a message if you already have my phone number or whatever, right? Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. I'd appreciate that, right? Because we're all trying to grow, right? And that being said, stay hydrated. Make sure you're eating. And I wish you all the brightest of blessings. Bye.